I had been dealing with this like hip back pain for probably going on 2 years. And I had seen doctors, physical therapists, personal trainers. I even had multiple MRIs. The feedback I got was kind of like, oh, like there's nothing really there. We're not sure why you're in pain, but yet I was in pain. So I was like, okay, well, it's not like imaginative, like it's actually affecting my life. So I was kind of at a breaking point right before I found you guys. I couldn't go through my day-to-day work. I'm a personal trainer, so I'm on my feet all day. And I was in so much pain that I would come home like crying. And I'm like, I can't work out, which is what I'd love to do. My job is active. I can't do that. So I just felt like, oh my gosh, like this, I'm 31. Like my life should not be like declining like this. So I was very thankful when I came across your page on Instagram. So what I was doing before I met you, kind of felt like I tried everything, but I'm a big power lifter, so I decided to pull that back. So no more heavy lifting, no very minimal compound movements, which is my favorite. I'm a big runner, and I had actually before the injury really took toll on me. I was training for a half marathon, or no, full marathon. I'm sorry. And right before the actual race day, I had to call like to run it because I was limping, my leg was locking up. And so since then I was trying to get to the root of it. So I did go to a physical therapist. They had me do like drills. They thought it was like sciatic issues. So I would do all the drills they gave me, really didn't give me relief. And I hired a personal trainer. He helped it a little bit with like core strength, but still was battling. Like it would still spike up. The pain would spike up. Tried Googling and like asking people for like what movements should I be doing, which movement should I not be doing, because I felt like I got counter answers like do this, but then someone else would say, oh, don't do that movement, that's gonna make it worse. So I felt like I couldn't do anything because there were such conflicting messages on like the back pain and what you should do and not do. So I was scrolling through Instagram and your page popped up, and this was at a time where I was like in constant pain, even if I wasn't moving. And I started reading your posts that you had, and it was like a slide of multiple like statements. And the statements were like, are you struggling with pain every day? I'm like, yeah. And then in the next slide was like, if you feel you've tried different resources of people and it's still not seeing like relief, I'm like, yep. And another one was like, is it deep, like in your back and in your hip? And I'm like, yes. So it just started kind of like falling into place where I'm like, everything you were saying, I was like, this is literally how I'm feeling. So I like clicked on your website or your Instagram page. I'm not super trusting of like Instagram things because it's, so much out there that's garbage or spam or no scam type stuff. But when I was further reading into your site, I felt like, okay, you know what? This is speaking to me. I want to reach out and see what you guys are about and if you can help. So I inquired, and you guys actually think you got back to me like same day. I liked how you met with me first. It wasn't like, oh, pay now and then we meet. I think that gave me peace of mind that, okay, like, this isn't just like a money bait type thing. You want to potentially help and see if you can help. It wasn't just give me your minutes. And honestly, when I saw you were an affiliate with Legion, the turkey powder, I love Legion, and that I trust that they're a business and like they had integrity. So I was like, okay, like that kind of being able to work piece of mind too. And after talking with you, how spot on you were with my symptoms, like you were saying things where I'm like, I don't even think you would know that unless I was like had already told you. So you were saying things that were it lined up with what I was struggling with. And so it made me think like, okay, you know what you're talking about. You've figured out a way to help people find relief. I even told myself, because I was at such a low, because it was affecting so much of my life. I don't care how much it costs. So whenever you were like, oh, it's going to be this much and you're going to go through this program, I was like, okay, let's do this, because I feel like I've tried so many other things and it's not working. And this is something I haven't tried before. And so I was kind of taking a leap of faith, honestly, because I just wanted my life to go back to feeling normal and I could do what I want to do. I think in how you guys approached my injury, you guys were very like, let's break it down from like body part to body part and even internal, like the mind and everything. That stood out to me because sometimes, like even going to MRI, they just took one MRI of one part of my back. So I'm like, what if it's in my mind, like they're always so intertwined and connected, the muscles and joints and everything. So I thought, like, why not? Like the source could potentially be somewhere else. So when you guys were saying we're gonna like look at your hips, your feet, the way you move, your mental headspace, because that can play a huge role in recovery or not. I think I also liked how I got immediate relief with some of the drills we went through when I was kind of going through each of the exercises. So bit by each week, I would feel like, okay, this feels like it's actually not only helping take away the pain, but I'm feeling like better movement in my hips and my back. So I kind of was sold, honestly, within like the first week of like, okay, I'm on the right path. And you guys were good about kind of reiterating this, that it's not like you have your set program online where it's like week 1, week 2, week 3. And Molly was telling me how like you guys are thinking of changing that because it's not, oh, by week 1 you have to be at this point. Week 2 you have to be at this point. It was more, if you need to push out, we can push out, or if we're ready to progress even more. So the pacing is individualized. Or it wasn't this pressure of like, oh, I'm not at that point yet, and that feeling stress of not being progressed enough. So I appreciated we're just going to work with you where you're at. I like virtual to an extent. I feel like it's great because it allows more opportunity to meet and communicate. Let's just say if I had to drag somewhere far to meet with you guys, that'd be another obstacle. So it was nice to be like, oh, I'm home from my computer and I can talk to you. You guys are very personable, and it didn't feel like a disconnect with it being online. I actually didn't feel any different than talking to someone in person. So I like it. Life is very different now. I'm not crying every day in cane. So that's a plus, because I know it just doesn't like flip a switch and everything's better. So I know I have to keep continuing on with the work you guys have showed me. But I am now slowly running again. So that's very exciting for me because it's been well over a year where I couldn't even run a mile without like hurting and crying. So I actually just ran 4 miles like a couple days ago. So I feel pretty excited about that. But even outside of like just the running goals, just my day-to-day life, I can walk and do my job as a trainer and not feel like restricted or like I'm suffering through it. It's no longer consuming my thoughts. I'm able to focus more on helping people, which is what I like to do, versus thinking about like the pain I'm suffering and kind of feeling like stuck in it. So I feel like a weight's been lifted. I know I'm still not 100%, but I'm like leaps and bounds beyond what I was however many months ago it was when I started with you guys. So if someone's dealing with chronic hip or back pain like that, I would say don't just give up, because I feel like you can get to that point. Like I almost got to that point where I was like, oh my gosh, like I guess this is my life. I would tell them to, for first off, never just throw in the towel and like, this is it, with dealing with this pain. You guys are very sincere and helping get to the root source of the pain, and not just like going through the steps like, okay, well, it didn't work, then you're on your way. So I found you guys to be very sincere and your words line up. Like you followed through.